Hello there. Welcome to a wonderful time of an awesome awakening as we deal on productivity rituals, turning your routines into a gold mine. Turning your routines into a gold mine. Now, it promises to be exciting. Excuse me. It promises to be an exciting encounter. Now, listen. Don't miss any second of this broadcast because I can assure you, you are getting premium content for free. All right, let's roll. I grew up in the beautiful city of Warri, and there is this saying, I quote, "Person no go dey inside water and pepper go dey pepper eye." Now listen, what that means is you will not be in the midst of opportunity and be struggling and be suffering. So it means that in your daily life, there are opportunities that is right before you, but you are not seeing them because your eyes are not open. Tonight, today, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, for wherever you are watching, I'm going to open your eyes to see the opportunities in your daily routines. All right? You are essentially a productive being. You are essentially a productive being. Now, here in my hand is a remote control. This remote control has the ability to control my DSTV, decoder. I can change the channel to suit my likes. I can change the channel to watch football match, to watch a movie, or even to watch a cartoon or whatever. So long as I have this remote control with me, I can decide which channel I watch. That is how our life is. We are products of rituals. Now listen, a ritual is something that you do daily, consistently. It's something you do on a consistent basis. Now, the Collins Dictionary defines a ritual as a way of behaving or series of actions which people regularly carry out in a particular situation because it is their custom to do so. Don't forget that word, custom, to do so. Until you are consistent with certain actions, you will not be able to build a dynasty to achieve relevance. I need to say that again. Until you are consistent with certain actions, you will not be able to build a dynasty to attain relevance. We create the future by the conscious or unconscious actions that we do. Now, what that means is, whether you are aware or not, every day of our lives, we are creating. That's why you need to be conscious of your rituals. You need to be conscious of the things you do on a consistent to get to the required result you desire. Now, listen, this thing not be magical. It works. It works. Today plus today plus today makes 1 week. Already, we've come to the end of January. We are in February already. So what are you doing with your day? What are you doing with your time? We create the future consciously or unconsciously on a daily basis. Now listen. The seconds that pass by is an investment. That means time is an investment. But if you are not deliberate as regards investing your time, you need to be able to connect your mental awareness to your physical actions. You need to awareness to your physical actions. Now you can see I'm sweating profusely. That tells you that I want to dish out something to you. Something that will mean a lot to you, so that at the end of the day, you have the result that you require. Now, what are your anticipations for each day? What are your expectations for each day? Listen, time is important. Time is vital. Time is needed for us to move from where we are, point A, to where we ought to be, point B. Like the Spanish we say, hoy es valioso. And the French will say, aujourd'hui est précieux. That means today is valuable. Today is valuable. Now, let me share a story in the Bible, the story of King Solomon and the two harlots. Let me share that story with you. Let's progress. There were two harlots who dwell in the same house. That speaks of friendship. That speaks of connectedness. That speaks of proximity. That speaks of acquaintance. There were two harlots, they stay in the same house. I don't think it is possible for two people to stay in the same place who don't know themselves. No, I don't think that's possible. Which means they know themselves, they are friends, so to speak, they stay in the same house. Now listen, you have to be very careful of the things you allow into your space. Some of these things will distract you if you are not careful. Your day will be utterly unproductive if you fellowship with the wrong crowd. Your day, I need to say this again. Your day will be utterly unproductive if you fellowship with the wrong crowd. You have to define your path. Where you are going is totally different from where someone else is going. So when you move with the crowd, trust me, you will get the result of the crowd. And you don't want to see that. You don't want to experience that. Remember, you have to define your path. Secondly, they gave birth. Two of them, they gave birth 3 days apart. Before you give birth, of course, you will know that someone must be pregnant. There is no way a woman can give birth when she's not pregnant. Which means, now let's try to examine this in our scope. Pregnancy is a product of an idea. I'm not talking of physical pregnancy. I'm not talking of carrying a child in this instance now. Pregnancy, I'm talking about an idea. They both have ideas. Listen, the fact that somebody has an idea and you have an idea does not mean you are moving in the same direction. No, it does not mean so. They gave birth 3 days apart. Now guess what? It tells you that they were great ideas. So how come some of us have ideas and our ideas are not utilized? Our ideas are not fulfilled. Our ideas are not accomplished. As we progress, you'll see the reason why. One of the women's son died in the night because she lay on him. That is, she slept on her son and the child died. Listen, you have to take ownership of your life. You have to take ownership of your life. Okay? Your journey, your life's journey, all right? Okay, let's progress. Let's progress. Don't be caught gaping. Be in charge. Don't be caught gaping. Be in charge. Take charge of your life. Take charge of your responsibilities. Take charge of everything you are doing. Okay? Now let me say something. Sleep is supposed to be a reward for a productive day. It's not enough to sleep when your day is not productive. That means when you sleep and your day is not yet productive, a friend. Okay? She replaced a child with that of a friend. That's interesting. She replaced a child with that of a friend. Now listen. If you are not conscious of your dream, if you are not conscious of your aspirations, when there is a replacement, you might not know. You might not know. Alright? So I want to encourage you. Be sure that you know what is happening daily. Be sure that you know what is going on with you. Now, guess what happened? When the lady woke up, the one whose child has been replaced, she said, "This is not my child." Why did she wake up? She woke up to nurse the baby, to feed the baby. That speaks of consistency. It speaks of consistency. I want to tell you something. You don't wake up to dream today and leave the dream on autopilot and expect it to be productive. No. She woke up to nurse the baby, to feed the baby, to nurture the dream, to give life to the dream. If you are not consistent with your dreams, I doubt the reality of achieving that dream. You have to deliberately nurse your dream. Now, there was an argument between both of them. She said, this is not my child. The other one said, it's your child. This is not my child. The other one said, it's your child. And what happened? They invited the king. And the king came into the scene to know what exactly is the problem. What happened afterwards? How do you know it's your baby? She said, I know it is my baby. Listen, I say this again. Take ownership of your dream. Take responsibility of your dream. Now, that does not mean you shouldn't take counsel from others. You shouldn't take counsel from people. But listen, the ultimate decision is yours to bear. The ultimate decision is yours. The decision to be successful is yours. And that means every day you nurture your dream. After a productive sleep, after a productive day which you now rest, you don't sleep and forget that you were dreaming. Just like the remote control that you puncture and tell yourself the channel you want to watch. That is how you should live your life. Okay? Now, when the king invited both of them, they said, okay, what do we do? The king said, give me a sword. And the servant brought a sword. And guess what? He said, I'm going to divide this baby into two. You will take one half and the other will take one half. Guess what? The lady who does not have ownership of the dream, who does not have ownership of the baby, said, oh yes, divide the baby into two. Let her take one half, I take one half. The real owner of the baby said, no, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. Give her the baby. Let her take the baby. There's no problem about that. So long as the baby is alive, I'm okay. That tells you that if you have labored for your dream enough, you will not want it to die. Now, that will lead me to something else. Control your appetite. When you wake up in the morning, what do you do? What do you engage in? What do you do? See, if you don't control your appetite for food, for drink, for sex, listen, you are losing touch of the reality of the fact that you are in charge of your dream. Control your appetite for food, control your appetite for sex, control your appetite for drink. It's not enough to take in everything that you see. Be in charge. Now, as leaders, it is important that you understand that your life is a life of influence. Every day you are influencing people one way or the other. Now that means that if you don't own your life, you give people a wrong impression of the influence equation that you live. So I tell you this, how well are you in charge of your life? How well are you in charge? How often do you take time to sit down and examine and analyze if you are making daily progress? Now, because, listen, let me tell you something about awareness. If you don't have emotional awareness, mental awareness, there is no way you can physically get grasp of your life. So you have to be mentally aware to picture where you are going to so that you can take action that will drive you there. That's why I said control your appetite. Listen, I'm a football fan. I love football. But you know what? It would be so wrong if every day of my life I am watching football. Every hour of the day, every minute of the day, I am watching football. It means my appetite for football has taken over my dream. Mind you, there are people whose passion, whose life, whose businesses are built on football. If such people are watching football on a daily basis, come on, it's their dream, it's their aspiration, they are doing it right. But if you are not in that space, if you are not in that sphere, and you watch football as if your life depends on it, you are making a very big mistake. For those who watch movies 24 hours of the day, that's not what you are called for. That's not what you ought to do. So you have to be sure that you are not living in another man's space, but you are living in your lane, you are living in your space. According to Lagos people, day your day, I day my day. If you are not day your day, you are making a big mistake. Stay focused. Alright? That's why you have to control. For movies, control your appetite. Even for football, control your appetite. For anything you do, control your appetite, so as not to lose touch, because it may not be physical sleep. Your appetite can put you in a sleep. Yes, your appetite can put you in a sleep. What happens when you lose your health? Health is wealth, of course. So when you lose your health because of an uncontrolled appetite, you can't pursue your dream. So I tell you, sleep is a reward for a productive day. With this, I'm going to take one or two questions that some persons sent over the week. Okay. Thank you, John. You are watching from Canada. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Yes, from US. Colorado. Thank you. All right. Now, I got a question from Moses. Moses is from Canada. He said, how do I take ownership of my life's journey? How do I take ownership of my life's journey when I do 2 jobs in a day? Oh, good. Moses is asking us, how does he take ownership of his life's journey when he does 2 jobs in a day? Good. Now, Moses, listen. You can take ownership of your life's journey even when you do 2 jobs. The job puts food on the table, but more importantly, the job gives you experience. Like the mail you sent, you said you go to school and you just have to balance 2 jobs to pay your fees. Okay, so education is key, and that means that as you do these 2 jobs, you are able to put food on your table so that you don't get distracted. What I want you to do is, you need to manage how much time you spend on these jobs such that you don't wear out, because you, like the man said, you school, all right? You don't have to waste too much time, or rather waste too much energy making money that will, have a collateral damage on your health, all right? So my advice is this: if the job is taking a toll on your health, you have to look at it again. Better still, you could go for another job, one job that will pay higher than both of them combined. That way, you can be able to, do one job and go to school, graduate with good grades. Because if you spend too much time in these jobs, you will not have much time to study, and this is not good. I hope I have answered your question, Moses. All right. Now, Mike said, how does a ritual affect my productivity? Oh, good. That's all we've been talking about. How does a ritual affect your productivity? Now, like we defined a ritual, it is something you do consistently over time. That means if you want to be successful, your daily activities have to hinge on success. So when your activities are successful, are success-based, it means you can be productive. But when your daily activities are not based on success, you can't be productive. You cannot be productive. For instance, little exercise, that little exercise you do 10 minutes for a day, it keeps your mental shape balanced, and it keeps your body in shape. You keep fit. So what I will advise you is every day, exercise daily. Do those things that you do. Now listen, it may not just be running, jogging, skipping, swimming. You can engage in mental exercise. You could read a book. You could hang out with someone whose life inspires you. That's a ritual, but it has to be consistent. Books are filled with the ideas, with the lives of people who have gone ahead of us. So when you pick a book, you are reading the mind of that person as regards that subject matter. So, Mr. Mike, I hope I have answered your question. Okay, I will take the last question from Phil Alexandria. Yeah, Phil Alexandria. You said, today I did not... Okay, yeah. Sorry, let me read it clearly. You said, I did not exercise today. Does that mean I have missed out of my productivity? No, you have not. Exercise is something that you should do regularly. But there are times where maybe job pressure the pressure that job puts on us, we are unable to exercise. But listen, it has to be consistent. So even before when you brush your teeth, you can just, exercise, you can just jog, you understand? You can just stretch. It must not be something that you go out to do. You can still be in your home brushing your teeth and, doing some little workout. It could be just 2 minutes. It will help. All right? Let me conclude with this. You are essentially a productive being. Don't waste your resources doing things that does not matter. Don't live in another man's space. Live your life so that people can be inspired, because you are an inspiration waiting to happen. I trust you've had a good time. You can reach me on any of the social media platforms. If you have any question, you can send it to my mail, sfdoctor@gmail.com.